Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Coming to you live from Kansas, Kansas City. I never know what to say. Kansas, well, it's Kansas. I'm on the Kansas side of Kansas City. And uh, still recovering from a very hectic work schedule. So please bear with me. I have realized that it's not the physical aspect of my job as much as it is the all the energy aspect. Um, for any of you empaths out there, it's you begin to realize at some point in your life that being around a lot of people is not the most comfortable feeling, and so probably shouldn't be at a job where I'm around 600 people per plus staff uh, per shift. And so I just did three of those. And hi, Polly, nice to see you. How you doing? Um, Here we are. We're heading into Fourth of July, and yeah. So if I'm act kind of weird, I really do. It takes me a while to recover. I hate that. I hate that about myself. People like me, and I know there's a lot of people like me. Hi, Amy. My my sister, Amy's Unite. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you. Happy Sunday. And we'll probably talk about politics, or I'll try to answer any questions anyone has. I might have to grab my tarot cards, which is fine. But yeah, ask any questions. I'll do my best to answer for my guides and angels and my um, interrogation, spiritual interrogation. Um, yeah, there's a lot going on. That's probably why I and all of us, I don't know if you guys are feeling it, the tiredness of the universe right now. Because if you think about it, we're like the Care Bears for President Biden, and we've had to put out all these good energy, and then we've got Grumpy Bear, or who was the okay in the Smurfs? It was Azrael, right? That was the bad guy. But for the Care Bears, I can't remember who that was. But there was always a bad guy to take down the good energy, and we're trying to protect Care Bear. I know that sounds so stupid, but yeah, yes, you have super low energy. Yeah, but President Biden is our big main Care Bear. I have a cat at the door. But if they come in here, the cats walk all over me, and I love them, but I don't want that when I'm trying to concentrate. So, um, yeah, super low energy. I think it's the universe. I think it's because all the things that happened last week. And isn't it like Saturn retrograde, which is supposed to be good? But I swear, every time there's a good planetary alignment, it was Gargamel. Oh, well, the Submersive. You're right. It was Gargamel. You're right. That's right. And I remember his face, and he had that cat, and I always wanted to. I wanted the cat to be free because I don't think the cat wanted to be with him. It's like the Grinch when he had that dog, and I wanted to get the dog too and get the dog away from the Grinch. Anyway, yeah, you're right. It's Gargamel. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Really low energy. Um, us light workers kind of went through a hit last week. I just watched Linda G, and she was talking about how she feels really good, and that made me very hopeful because um, we have this whole immunity thing that they said that they might decide on tomorrow. And how awful would it be if they came on and said, like the Mueller report, and said, "Well, we didn't find anything wrong with 45, so we're just going to give him full immunity." And us light workers would be that's like a kick in the gut for us because of all the work we've done in the last few years to protect each other, um, our fellow humans on earth, light good-hearted people, democracy, all the stuff with Ukraine and everything else. It's been hard. Like, we need a break. We need a break. So maybe um, if they come out tomorrow, and we've always said, all of us intuitives have said, there's no way in heck that the Supreme Court's going to give 45 full immunity because it would give Biden full immunity. It just wouldn't make sense. But see, it was a game of waiting. They waited and waited. Maybe they were waiting to see if Bannon would really go to jail, and he's going to jail unless he leaves the country. That's what I was going to talk about. So, but yeah, ask me any questions. I will do my best to answer. And but yeah, let me talk about Biden. Let me talk about that because I was at work last night. Oh, okay, Amy. Let me see your comment here. I was going to say, please be praying for my mom and brother and me. My brother and I have to step forward and be our mother's caregiver now. That's why I haven't been on much. It's really tough. Yeah, that is tough. Um, yes, definitely. I will say some prayers. Everybody say some prayers for Amy and her brother because they're having to take care of their mother, and not only your mother's care, but probably medical and the bill. And you probably have to be like the, somebody has to be for the, you, what do they call that when you have to watch over the finances and probably get a home nurse and all that. That's stressful. It's very stressful. So, yes, saying some prayers. Um, the most benevolent outcome prayer is really good. I just honestly, I'll like call in and I'll say, I pray for the most benevolent outcome. And I'll say for Amy and her brother, that their mother regains her strength and that they have a lessening of the load of caring for her, and send an angel to Amy and her brother so that they have help in this process of their mother being compromised right now with her health. And we've all been there. My mother, I've been there. I know what that feels like. So, um, okay. And then we say, and then I say, thank you, God, amen. Thank you, God, amen. Thank you, God, amen. So mote it be. Amy and her brother have a lessening of the load, taking care of their mother. An angel will be sent to them to help in the process, and their mother will also regain her strength. Thank you. We basically have to do everything right now. Yeah, that is not, because it takes all it takes all the stuff that you have, that we all have, our personal um, life joys that we need every day to get through each day. And so we definitely will be thinking of you. Carolyn says prayers going out to Amy, warrior princess. Yes, indeed. And prayers work. They really do. They really do. This was the time of year when my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And my mother wasn't super young or anything, young at heart, but 1 week before I was with her at 4th of July. And then the next week she called me and said that she thought she had pneumonia and needed to go to the ER. So I drove down there, got her. We went to the ER. We were in there all day, and they come back with x-rays and say that she has stage 4 cancer. So it's like one day your world is like this, the next day your world is completely different. And for the rest of my summer, basically, it was being a caregiver. Now, I've always said that was only 1 month out of my life. I don't know what that would have been like to do that for more. And that was right before the pandemic. I can't imagine. I would do anything to have my mother back. But selfishly, I also thank God she passed before the pandemic, because I would have had to worry about her, with the isolation, there wouldn't have been. She would have been with me. But yeah, that's stressful. I only had 1 month. So I know how it feels. I don't know how it feels. You're welcome, Amy. You're welcome. What else? Yeah, try to remember to have time for yourself. Watch your favorite TV shows. She's 86. See, my mother was about that age. Yes, Peter said make sure you have a good power of attorney. That's what I was trying to say. When my mother was in the hospital after the diagnosis, we went through, my brother and sister and I had to go through all this stuff with the power of attorney, and you have to have an advocate. And really what I became, because I'm the youngest, I'm the free spirit creative. My sister is an accountant, and my brother works in he works with special needs, so he knows all about a lot of hospice and Medicare and things like that. Well, I was the youngest and didn't know much, so I just became her advocate for, what do you need? What would you like? How can I make you happy? But I did have to find ways to be happy too, and that's, yeah, she has her will. Okay, that's good. That's good, Amy, because afterwards, Oh, I hate to say that. Let's hope that's not for a long, long, long time. Um, but my mother wrote her will on a piece of paper, basically. So your brother, okay, good. It's you would be amazed how people that you love and that your brothers sisters will fight over a will. So it's good that she wrote it out and that it's done because people get strange. They really do. It's kind of a sad thing. So we'll be sending out lots of prayers for that. But I've been there. I know what it feels like. I think a lot of us have been, well, not all of us. Can't say that because not everybody, I'll shut up because, yeah, I want your mother to heal. See, when my mother had her stage 4, I was like, I'm going to heal her. I'm going to heal her. So I didn't want to manifest anything bad, and I don't want you to either. I want everything to go well, and so yeah. What Amy, what do you do to help yourself stay centered and grounded and to bring joy? Do you watch your favorite TV shows? Do you get to go out on your own once in a while, like take a walk? Or do you feel like you're constantly, are you worried that if you leave, your mom might need you? 'Cause, I hope you get some time to yourself. I really do. That's really important for you. Hi, Fatima. It's good to see you. Blessings for your Sunday. We we had this horrible storms on Friday night, and it sounded like pandemonium outside. Just south of us, there was a tornado warning, and it got close, and then thankfully it stopped right before it got here. And I was like, "Thank you, thank you, Archangel Michael," because I always kind of put his protection over my house. Yeah, and it usually makes a big difference. I'm the youngest, and I just make sure it's everything. See, that's how I was. So yeah, yes. Well, Amy, you can always email me if you need anything and come here and we'll talk. We're here for you, definitely. Pray. Carolyn says pray for what is best for her. That's right. That's what I did for mom. I remember taking a drive back because I was that summer. I was back and forth, taking her to the hospital, going to her house, and of course I had my kids too. And I remember one time I was really upset. A lot of things were going wrong, and I remember I just prayed, "What does my mother need?" And I got what I heard from Spirit was she just wants you to be her advocate, and that's why I use that word because a lot of times when someone is a patient, they don't have a voice. The doctor's telling them to do this, and they have nurses, and they have the home care nurses, and then you have your brother, other people, relatives telling you what to do. And Amy, you probably know more than anyone what your mother needs at this point. And yeah, just be her advocate. And I think that's the best thing. Like Carolyn says, pray for what is best. So you watch your favorite shows, good. I go out once in a while, but I don't like being out too long. I understand that. Hmm. And you feel guilty too. You go out and you feel guilty, but that is good for you to do that once in a while. You know what you can do also is you can just you can say, I prayed, Archangel Michael, watch over my mother while I'm gone, and just let me have this time to, because you gotta let your guard down once in a while. And so yeah, Archangel Michael is one of those archangels, entities that is really present for a lot of us. And I feel like for a lot of women, because I feel like he's almost our Romeo for a lot of women to be there for us when we are scared, when we're not feeling safe, watch over our home, our children, our family, our pets. So you can call on Archangel Michael and your guardian angels all the time. And I guarantee that he's always listening. He's sent by God or the divine to help watch over us. So Fatima says, I was a caregiver to my mom for over 4 years. She had strokes and then she got dementia. Yeah, that's hard. That is hard. Well, let me say this, and Fatima, that is hard. Jamie takes care of his mom, and so I'm surprised he's not on here because he's been through all of this too. Um, what was I okay, so at the theater where I work, there are so many people that come in that are of a certain age, and a lot of them are, have this very slow mobility. Um, they walk with canes, walkers. We've have some with wheelchairs. And like even today, I did the matinee, and it's a lot of people who are at that age, and they really that's why I actually love that's the part of my job that I actually love, and I feel like I shine because I love to make people happy, and I love to care for people and just give them that love and attention that maybe they're not getting in their life. So um, yeah. So my brother and I live with her. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you're there with her. Some people get sent off to home hospice, which there's nothing wrong with that. But then they miss their family. So I'm glad that you're with her and you can, because I'm sure that she is very, very relieved that you two are there caring for her. Um, yeah, that's good. All right. So keep talking. Keep talking. I'm going to move into politics here in a minute, but keep talking to each other in the chat room too. I know it's hard, but I prayed a lot for God to give me strength and patience. I did get his help. I felt it around me all the time. Yes. And Fatima, don't you feel like those are the moments when spirit is around you the most too? When someone is in their ending years, their time of passing, it really is. It's very hard to go through, but it's also when you're looking back, you look back and you go, that was actually really a beautiful time with my mother or family member and our pet. Sometimes it's with your pet, and it's almost like things are crystallized, like fine tuned, and you feel and you see things. You have deeper conversations than you've ever had before because you're not taking time for granted anymore. You realize that yeah. Okay, so Carolyn says, Sven, I'm sorry, but you're there for her. It's hard, but she will be happy on the other side. Yes, indeed. Did you see that, Fatima, from Carolyn? And Roger says, Jamie says, I'm in a similar situation. Amy, warrior princess, caring for me mom. People get upset on my behalf. A social worker was trying to get me to put my mom in care. I found out it was my health she wanted, Yeah, that does happen. And again, you know best. You know what's best for your mother. So Fatima says, yes, I even noticed that my dad was around and a brother that had passed a long time ago. Fatima, that's so interesting because you just unlocked a memory. I remember taking my mother to the hospital, it was probably over a week before she passed, because she passed pretty fast. And I had to take her to get her lungs drained, and which sounds hideous, and it was, but it's amazing how my mother went through those things and didn't, like, barely complained about it. Like anyone else would have been horrified, but she's like, well, I got to get my lungs drained. And I remember sitting in the chair in the room. It was kind of a darkened room, and the nurse and the doctor came in and did this thing where I don't know how, they drained fluid out of her lungs, and she had her hospital gown on, and I could see her bare back, and her hair was cut in a bob. And I saw this image of her being a little girl, and like, when you're a child and you're so obedient, and someone says, like, you're the doctor and we need to do this, and you're like, yes, and you're well, anyway, I just had an image of her being a little girl, and then I saw that again. I saw that her parents were around her. I saw them in these 1940s clothing, like my grandfather had a fedora and sort of like a vest and pants, a pantsuit, and my grandmother had on a 1940s dress. And then when my mother passed in hospice, I saw her leave the day before she technically died. I saw her spirit as a little girl leave and run into their arms. And I really do absolutely believe that our family comes to us from the other side when we're passing and they're ready to greet us. And pets. So that's comforting. As hard as it is, it's comforting. Amy says, we refuse to put her in home. That's good. And again, you know what's best. You know what's best. So that's good. Yes, Carolyn, my mom came to me after she passed. I was waking up one day and I was breathing like her, and my nose felt the same as hers. It was so strange. Interesting. Do you ever get number codes, Fatima? And like your phone number, your street address growing up, the house number growing up. I just recently I was thinking of my mother because this is the time when she we found out she was sick. And one of the numbers in our phone number was 686, and I keep seeing 686 everywhere. And then our address at home was 516 North Franklin. And I kept seeing 516, and I was like, okay, that's my mom. Numbers, I know some people don't believe in numbers, but I absolutely do. I've seen numbers show up a lot for past loved ones, and even at the theater I'll get numbers that are resonate with me. So good for you and your mom, Amy Warrior Princess. If it's not right, then don't put her into care. I don't know for sure how long I've got with me mom. I'm not going to pollute that by abandoning. Yes, that's right. That's right. And to add to that, I just talked to someone at work the other day who said that she says her mom is in a, I guess it's a nursing home. It might be hospice, like a long care hospice. And the nurse pushed her mom out of her wheelchair and has been bullying her mother. So the truth is, there's good people out there, and then there's bad people out there. And some people are just out there to make a paycheck. And nobody can ever love your family, your mother, like you do. So I think it is best to have them, like in other countries in Europe, they keep their family at home with them. They don't ship them off somewhere. But sometimes you have to. Sometimes you can't feel bad if somebody has, um, let's say somebody is at harm of, you can't even sleep at night because if you sleep, they could die. Something could happen with a breathing tube, or they could have a stroke or something. So sometimes you do have to put someone in care, professional care. But I think for the most part, it's good to have your family at home with you. Um, no, if I no, I don't notice numbers. I get smells, voices, feelings, and I see things. That's good. That's really good. Carolyn says, Fatima, she was showing you how she was before and how much she loved you and was grateful for you. Oh, that's really sweet. That's beautiful. Thank you, Carolyn. That's beautiful. Fatima, I hope you see that comment from Carolyn. Also, they communicate to me through dreams. Yes, I've had that with my mother. And even recently, I had a dream with my mother. I don't have a lot. I don't remember all. I wish I could remember all my dreams, but I had one last year where I was in a store and my mother appeared and she was wearing like a spring dress because she would make these dresses for Easter. And I remember she had a specific dress that I really loved. And in the dream, it was a very light, sort of flowy dress and it had lilacs on it. And my mother loved lilacs. And I walked up to her and I hugged her and she said, I never realized how much you guys would miss me. So I thought that was really interesting. And you know how it is. You crave your, like right now. I was thinking the other day, God, I wish I could go back to see my mother at her house and just sit in her living room and watch a movie with her, or sit on the porch and watch a storm come in. Or here it's going to be 4th of July, and just sometimes when you're adulting, and I'm a mom, right? Sometimes you just get so overwhelmed and you just want to be a kid again and sitting in your mom's house. Like, okay, let's talk about this. We'll shift it a little. We'll shift it, but you guys keep talking. The movie Peggy Sue Got Married with Kathleen Turner. That's one of my favorite movies, and it has time travel. Well, she goes back in time to her old, to her high school and her boyfriend and who she married, and then they've had trouble. They got divorced. And she goes back in time to the 1950s and she's in her mother's house and she sees her father and he bought an Edsel and she sees her little sister and even like her grandmother and she's just and her grandfather and she's so happy. I you know what? Maybe I'll watch that movie tonight because I love that movie. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about where you just want to be like 16 or 14 or whatever and just go be in your mom's house or your parents and just be a kid again and not have to worry about all this stuff. Just be a teenager and listen to music and read books, whatever, and not have to worry about life. So sometimes maybe we have to meditate ourselves into that state. I don't know. Let's all watch Peggy Sue Got Married Tonight. I think that would be a good idea. Jamie will like this. I watched the movie Chaplin the other night, and with Robert Downey Jr. And also every star in the universe was in that movie. I thought that was it. David Duchovny was in there, and lots of people. Who else was in there? Lots of actors. Some actresses you don't see anymore. But anyway, it was really good. I thought that Robert Downey Jr. did a great job. But I did ask, okay, if they had a kid played the young Charlie Chaplin, and then Robert plays the, 20, 30, 40-year-old Charlie Chaplin, why did they have him play the 80-year-old Charlie Chaplin? But after he did sort of this epilogue about his work and how he hadn't finished, he felt like he hadn't finished his work when he had to move to, where did he go to? Italy or France or something like that. He went somewhere. Anyway, Switzerland. He went to Switzerland. And he says, I didn't finish my work. But then you look back at his work, The Great Dictator, Modern Times, all the Immigrant. And you're like, oh my God, he made such an impact. And he did finish his work. And so I could see why Robert Downey Jr. would want to, prosthetics and all, kind of bad prosthetics, but you have to look past that. But watch that movie. Maybe there's a reason why I'm telling you about the movie Chaplin. Yeah, there's something to that. But anyway, that was beautiful. It was a beautiful movie. Okay, Fatima says, my younger sister asked me, Fatima, what did you mean Mom came to me during the night? My father had dementia and was getting violent. I came from England and saw my mother, and it was killing her. I told his doctor either put him in a home, or if my mother dies, he will see my attorney. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Some people, when they get dementia, they're not themselves anymore. And part of me wonders if that person's already began to leave their body and go on the other side, and what's left is like just their pure ego hanging on. For that, the body to keep the heart keep beating and the lungs keep breathing, but like their actual soul has begun to go to the other side. And so sometimes you do have to put someone in care, because you have to care about their overall well-being and yourself and your mother too. That does happen quite often. Fatima says, I looked at my mom's picture and asked my mom to come and give my sister a hug, and she did. Oh. And you can feel that. If you ever just feel that sort of warmth or a chill, you can feel like a cold touch on your shoulder. I've had that a lot. So ask and they will show up. They will. Sometimes it takes a few days, but they'll hear you. And Amy says, I love David Duchovny. Yeah, he was. I was so surprised. I think this was before. No, it had to have been after. What's that show? Amy, you'll know the show that he was in with Jillian. God, can't think of the name. You know the show. I'm sure you know the show because it's so popular. It's the sci-fi show. X-Files? Was it the X-Files? Gillian Anderson, right? I think Chaplin was after that, but I could be wrong. Yeah, David's cool. So Fatima did ask, what did you mean when you said Mom came to me during the night? I'll let Carolyn answer, but I kind of have a thought on that too. But yeah, let's talk about that, because this is the topic here. Loved ones on the other side. If you want to see them in a dream, they will show up, but you have to, if you're somebody who doesn't remember your dreams when you wake up, like I'm kind of like that, you have to start to sleep train. And that means that every time you wake up, you have to think about with the dream you had. And sometimes that means writing it out in your phone or on a notepad or into like an audio app or something. Or you're never gonna remember that dream. So I think the dreams that I remember are the ones where I actually sleep in late, and so I'm not so deeply asleep. I'm not like deep in our REM sleep. So I wish I could remember all my dreams. Because I feel like I wake up and I have a really cool dream, and then I wake up and then my brain is like, grab the phone. What's going on in the world? What time and what politics are going on? And yeah, I've asked like John. I've asked John, and he has shown up in my dreams. And I know he shows up in my dreams more than I remember because he tells me, and I'm like, damn it, I can't remember what, do it, come back. But if you ask, they will show up in your dreams, absolutely. But you have to do it. You have, before you go to bed, you have to say to them, please show up in my dream and help me remember, make it strong and help me remember. And you can also do that for someone's higher self. So if your mom is still here, you can ask for her to give you a message through her higher self. Yes. Okay. The X-Files. Yes. I need to watch that show again. Thank you, Amy. Jamie says, I love Chaplin. Robert Downey Jr. gives one of the greatest biopic performances of all time. You're right. A cast of thousands. Dan Aykroyd. Yes. Dan Aykroyd. Diane Lane. Yes. James Woods. That's right. He played the lawyer. Anthony, ironically, and now he's far right. And at the time he was, well, wasn't he a far right lawyer in the movie against communism? Anthony Hopkins. Yes. He played his scribe. Kevin Kline played, Douglas Fairbanks. And Mira Sorvino. Yes. Now, here's what's interesting. So, Jamie, tell me this. So, at the beginning of the movie, when he's young and he's in England, he falls in love with a girl and he ends up with the same girl, but it's not really the same girl. What do you think the meaning was of them using the same actress? Obviously, Charlie Chaplin had mommy issues, as he liked young starlets. At least he married them, right? But what was the meaning of them using the same actress to play the young starlet in England and then Una, the woman he married later on? He says, the trouble was trying to tell Chaplin's life in under 3 hours. Yes. Do you like Geraldine Chaplin playing? Yes. And I recognized her instantly. I was like, oh, and that told me something too. I thought she gave her blessing. And she wouldn't have done that. Geraldine Chaplin. But by the way, my mother's name was Geraldine. Just a little tidbit there. I always think that's a strange name, but yeah. Geraldine Chaplin. When I saw that she was in the movie and played Charlie's mother, I thought, there you go. She approved. And yeah, and I also thought it took me a while to watch this movie because I love Charlie Chaplin. I've had a huge thing about Charlie Chaplin my whole life. We're both April. Anyway, born in April. But I didn't want to watch the movie because I felt it was dark. But I was ready. I watched it at the time when I was ready, and I really loved it. And so, yeah. And I'll say this real quick, too, since I'm on the topic. That movie, and Charlie Chaplin in particular, is a great example of how you can be at the wrong place and your life is a mess, right? And then you go to the right place and they talk about ley lines and all that stuff. And all of a sudden everything happens because you're in the right place at the right time. When he moved to America and went to LA, California, right in time for talkies, or not talkies, silent movies. It was the right time, right place and right time. He left the worst place for him. It was his training ground, and he went to the right place, and everything fell together, came together. So blessings, Roger. Fatima says, blessings, Roger. And Carolyn says, all dreams about them is a communication. They want you to know you are loved and appreciated who you are. That's good. Thank you, Carolyn. So Fatima, did you hear that? That's good. Oh, that's true. Fatima says that's true, Carolyn. They use the same actress because Chaplin believed in reincarnation, and in his autobiography, he says he believed his last wife was the reincarnation of his first. Okay, all right. Here's something that's interesting, and that's kind of like who you talked about. Who's the guy? So I'm so tired. After I work all those shifts, my brain is just mush, to be honest. Peter Sellers. That's like Peter Sellers. Okay. When I worked at the library, I was able to get this book about Charlie Chaplin, and I think it was published. He was already gone when I got this book. But I think it was published when he was still alive, and it was kind of like his autobiography, and it had all these pictures from his whole career and everything. And I read that from cover to cover, and that's when I really became a huge Charlie Chaplin uh, lover. And and what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. But anyway, God, what was I going to say? See, they used the same actor's reincarnation autobiography. Okay, autobiography. What I was going to say was, I wish I stole that book. I don't believe in stealing from the library, but sometimes what they do is they take old books out of circulation and they sell them at book sales. And sometimes they throw them away. And I know that that book is gone now. And I wish that I had saved it by maybe not returning it. Because what you could do is, if you don't return a book, then you could pay the fee. So you essentially pay for the book. And I wish I had done that, because that book is gone now. Maybe I could find it on eBay or something. I don't know. But I love that book so much. That is very true, Carolyn. Yes. And okay, so dreams. Let's talk about dreams for a second, because I had someone tell me once that when we're in our dream state, we're also in our 5D. And I know a lot of people talk about 5D in waking hours, that we should all be in 5D, which isn't really realistic, because we're here now on this earth, feet on the ground, and we have a purpose in life. We're not supposed to be up in 5D avoiding everything. We're supposed to be here now, living our life, and we're learning lessons and helping each other, and all of that. So I think 5D to me is more, my daughter's texting me, 5D is more our dream state. And I do believe that when we go up to 5D, we heal karma, we heal ourselves, we're getting healed from others, we're spending time. Like, I've been with John in heaven quite a few times, and I say that now without blinking, because I know it was heaven. Beautiful hillsides looking over like purple sunsets, and gardens with flowers, and of course, anytime, yeah, it was heaven. And so he's healed me and I've healed him. And our dreams can be up in the 5D. And have you ever noticed that when you have a dream, a very vivid dream, you can just, like, out of nowhere in your day, 5 years later, remember every detail of that dream. I've had that. And I'm like, how is it that I can remember out of nowhere every detail of that dream and what it felt like? And it has all these spiritual, symbolic meanings for us, the dreams, like past life meanings and things like that. But how is it that we can remember that, but I can't remember what I ate for lunch 5 years ago? Or, it's strange. It's a strange phenomenon. And I think it's because we're up there in a real higher spiritual self, our higher self, heaven, the divine. That's our real self. This is our dream here on earth. This is our dream state. We're not really awake here. We're doing our purpose. We're learning our lessons. But the truth is, the real thing is the other side. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. So this is the dream here on earth. Living the dream for all the bad and good. Jamie says, thank you, Fatima. Let's see. What did my daughter text me? The picture? Let's see. Oh, puppy dogs. That's cute. So, how's everybody's Sunday going? Anybody have plans for 4th of July or anything? Actually, after all the work I just did, I get to have a few days off here, and I plan on writing, cleaning. I'm going to force myself to go see the Bike Riders movie. I tried to see it over a week ago, and what happened was my teenagers, were like, okay, we'll go see it with you. And then they said, well, we want to see, what's that new movie? Not Sing, but it's the Pixar movie. And I was like, oh, I don't want to see another stupid Pixar movie. But I was like, but okay. I mean, I'll go see. I want to see a movie with you guys. And then it all dissolved. And then I felt guilty because I thought, well, I can't go see the bike riders on my own now. So I just like, whatever, I'll leave it. But I'm going to go. I'm going to go tomorrow is Canada's birthday. Happy birthday, oh Canada. Do you remember Paul from David Letterman? He was Canadian. He'd always play oh Canada. Oh, is whatever. I'm not going to sing it. Canada is having troubles right now because you guys are dealing with the same thing we've dealt with Trump, and you have your, who is this lady? The far right lady. She's not going to, I don't feel she's going to be elected or whatever you do over there. What's her name? Breaking news. Early returns in, oh, that's France. But you're connected to France. That's why I'm thinking of it. Yeah, that's right. God, what was I saying? I'm an idiot. I said Canada. Typos, grr. Yeah, that was me. Oh, my brain. I told you my brain was mush. Why am I equating Canada with France? Okay, I was thinking of Macron, I guess. But aren't they doing that with Trudeau also? Don't you guys have the same thing? We have a far right thing going on in Canada. Well, I don't feel that's going to work. I don't feel like Macron is going to leave in France, and I don't feel like Trudeau is going to leave in Canada. But, yeah. Just a warning, I should not text or not post anything when after work. Because you have Polar, which is the prime, what is that, PC? Polar, okay. Here's something. I think, okay, Linda G was talking about Taylor Swift, how she's going to endorse Biden, and I've been feeling that too. And Travis Kelce, I really feel like Taylor Swift is going to come out, especially after the debate here, and she's going to say that she support, it may be another couple weeks, but she's going to come out and with Travis, and there's going to be that type of campaign thing where they're going to come out and support Biden. And Jamie was asking me about PCs for the rich and big. Okay. Yeah, like that's, yeah. Well, I think everything will be okay. England's going through it too. Jamie could tell you they have the, what is it, the Tories and the Labour. It's all the same. It's all far right and far left. Progressive conservative. Okay, that sounds familiar. You live in Michigan, don't you, Amy? I live in Kansas, which that's something I wanted to bring up. With everybody being sad about Biden's performance the other night. In Kansas, we thought we were probably going to lose that vote for the right to choose a couple summers ago, and we overwhelmingly won. And it's a very conservative state. We're a very red state, but we won. And that's why I don't want people, we need to vote. We need to vote in November, but I don't want people to worry about Biden and democracy, because overwhelmingly we're 2 years on from that. We're leaning blue. We're leaning Democrat. And Biden, he may be old. We knew he was old. As I said, he's 1 year younger than Paul McCartney. But, and I think he's been sick here for a couple months. But he's going to be okay. He bounces back. He's a fighter. If they have to get him B12 shots, and which they probably already are, to be honest, I think that, oh, cool. I just see that. You know what? But I'll finish my point real quick. Biden, I've never felt that Biden was going to lose in November. Yes, I'm human and I have my fears too. But I'm bringing this up because Kansas, I live in Kansas, and Kansas is a great example of how when you all get out and vote, you win. And they did try to overturn our vote. They tried all these sneaky ways to come in. The far right tried to come in and take away our vote and overturn it. But they have it. And I really feel like we have the divine, the divine chose Biden. Yes, he is old, but the divine chose him. He got in. He's the only, here, listen to this. Biden is the only person who's beat Trump. Think about that. Trump's always gotten what he wants. He's always gotten away with it. Biden came in and he's the only one who beat Trump. He has that power, and he has the power of the divine. And I felt that in 2020, and I feel it now. And we need to trust that. We need to trust the process. It's good. We're only months away, but overwhelmingly, I feel like it's a blue wave, and 45 has lost so many of his voters. Um, so I don't want anyone to worry about that. He's going to be fine. And I do feel like Kamala is going to take over a lot. We may not know that, but she's going to help and take over a lot. We're going to probably see her more. I feel like Biden is going to use Obama, maybe even through like online, and say, here, I delegate, I want you to do, and be sort of an ambassador for democracy. So I think that, and he's already doing that with the campaign. You see a lot of these ads with Obama and Biden together. I don't think Michelle wants to have anything, because the way they treated her, him, and their girls really hurt Michelle Obama. And she was really disappointed when Trump got in office. But let me finish my point here. I feel like Biden is very wise. He's going to have the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce connection. He's going to have the Obama. He's going to use him as a PowerPoint. Obama's going to work with me. And my God, I will be so happy to see more of Obama again. I really feel that. And Amy says, I have a feeling there will be another liberal. I don't think Trudeau will run again. Okay, that's fair. I feel that too, that it may not be Trudeau, but the far right is not going to get in. It sounds fruity and all that, but we've been past all that, and it's eating at us like little shark bites, right? But we're past all that, and it's starting to edge out of our society, the far right, Republicans and all that. So, okay, let's go back to my sweet. Oh, Jamie, you said, I think John is behind you watching. Look at your plant pot. It looks like a lot like Live Peace in Toronto era, John. Yeah. So I was going to say that I do see things. I see John out of the corner of my eye, and I'll also see him in my mind's eye, and it'll fade. Just as soon as I've seen it, it'll fade. And I'll go, oh, well, I've learned to trust it now that I saw John. Sometimes I literally see him. He imprints his face on things, or he'll be in light. You've seen my videos and all that in pictures. So yeah, thank you, Jamie. I have a feeling, Amy says, I have a feeling there will be another liberal. Yes, I agree with you. Fatima says, yes, Amy, people want Trudeau, to Amy, to resign. They are tired of him. He is too nice. And that's understandable. And somebody said once, if we all love a politician, who loves a politician completely? I think there's a healthy dissonance and a healthy rebellion against every politician out there. No president's ever going to be loved completely. So it's not good to be like the cult that we've watched. It's good to have a healthy position, and just like, it's the president, it's the king. Not everybody likes the king. Not everybody likes the queen. He brings people to Canada. There are no jobs or places to live. Yeah. Yeah. But there's something about, I was saying about that, the Queen Elizabeth, she was in, like with Biden, being older, but the Queen, she was of a certain age, and she stayed in her position of power for quite a long time until she died. It can be done. But again, I don't think Biden's going to, I really don't feel like he's going to burden himself with the duties of the White House fully after the election. I think he's going to delegate, which is smart. That's a smart thing to do. He's going to have other people help him out. That's not a bad idea. But we're not in that time where we can say in America, step down, which creates total chaos. Like taking the Jenga block out of the tower that we've built of security against fascism, actual fascism. We don't have a choice to take the Jenga block out and knock everything over. We have to stand with Biden and support him. He needs our support. So, too many people living in the streets. Yeah. That's true, and that's not good. Fatima, one day I hope that we can take away the way that we use money and make it so that, I know it's not, there'll never be a day when there's nobody that's homeless. There's always going to be somebody, because some people, that's just going to be part of their life path. But I think in society, we should make it so that money doesn't have the value that it has. Like the 1% get to have uh, everything and never be taxed. And then the rest of us are struggling to buy eggs. We need to balance that out. And people shouldn't be living in the streets. People should have health care. So, and one day we won't worry about borders so much. We'll worry more about humanity and just overall global health for humanity. No more borders. I mean, yes, we have borders. It's good to have borders and security. But like with Mexico, I think that we could, instead of being mad at Mexico here in America, it's part of North America. We could have work with them more, so that instead of saying, oh, they're going to come here, we should go over there and try to help them too. Have our ambassadors go over there and help against the cabal. There's a lot of going on there with the drug situation that's not, and it's us. We're buying drugs here in America. We're part of the problem. I'll shut up about that. But yeah, one day we won't have people living in the streets. We'll have no borders. We'll have a one humanity where we care for each other. And I really feel that. It may be decades on, but I think that that could happen. Jamie says, I don't know if you heard, but Taylor Swift donated enough money to keep food banks. And I did see that for 18 months, and the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, complained about it, calling it gluttony. See, she never can please everyone. I don't really listen to her. It's like Debbie Gibson, I didn't really like Debbie Gibson, but other people did. And with Taylor, people like her. There's something about her that makes people happy. And look at I love who she is as a human being. Every day, more and more, I love who Taylor Swift is as a human being. So maybe she's like the modern day Princess Diana. Maybe that's it. But here's something. I was going to say that. And let me sit up here. When I did a reading, I did a mediumship reading on Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones. And right at the end of the reading, he said to me, oh, I'm Taylor Swift now. And I was like, what? And he said, oh, I came back as Taylor Swift. And I'm like, Taylor Swift, that's like completely different than the music that you did on the Rolling Stones. And then in my mind's eye, I saw his face and I saw her face. And I was like, oh, they look so much alike, male and female. But go look at Brian Jones and Taylor Swift. And okay, so he said to me that he was righting the wrongs of the way he treated women when he was alive. And he's finally getting to have his music out there without, like Mick Jagger, the egos of the other band members getting in his way. So that's so true. And think about it. Paul McCartney loves Taylor Swift. All these people that you wouldn't think would love her really get into her. I think it's because they're picking up the Brian Jones energy, because they all loved Brian Jones when he was alive. So, yeah, look at their faces. I'll post it on my community board. Carolyn says, I think one of the reasons the president did the debate ill was to show he can be sick and still take on big issues. Yes, I picked up on that too. He's not a quitter. He ain't a quitter. And there's I really chalk it up to Dana Bash and who's the other guy, Jake Tapper, and CNN in general. They're not taking any accountability for how they moderated, which they didn't moderate at all. And it was just the worst thing. Like I said, I turned it off in 5 minutes. I couldn't watch it. And I just said, everybody turn off the debate right now. Because Trump was drawing everyone into his narcissistic, evil energy. And it's the truth. That's what it is. And trying to suck everyone in. And he was sucking the energy out of President Biden. And they were never holding him accountable, never stopping him. And I guess now there's some sort of thing where Trump said, well, I won't do the debate if you ask me or hold whatever, put fact checks up. Who gives? So then don't let him have say. How about this? Say Trump refused to do the debate because he can't tell the truth. I mean, that's what they should have done. Anyway, don't get me started on that. It makes me so mad. Amy says, see, Jamie, that's why I want liberals to get into Parliament and become PM, Prime Minister. There you go. England's got its troubles right now. Yeah, I'll let you guys talk about that because I don't know everything about it. I remember I don't know. So I'm not going to talk about England because I wish I knew more, but I don't. I know that it parallels everything here in America, but I just don't know enough. So I don't feel like I have a good opinion on that. So, yeah. Amy says, I'm 52. Yes. And I'm a Swiftie. I'm not ashamed to say, yes, I love you, Amy. I love you. That's great. I love it. Well, you know what? Here's what I think too. I think Taylor Swift has that energy of Stevie Nicks, and I love Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. So I totally understand that. I also think a lot of people, when they hear her songs, it matches a certain moment in their life, like a really happy moment, or a sad moment. And so a lot of her songs are really ingrained in people's like their living experience. And it takes them back every time they hear her music. It takes them back. So that's really cool. I love that. I really think she's going to help the campaign big time. And some people aren't going to like that, but too bad. Did you hear Trump said something like he thought she was pretty, and he kept saying it like over and over again. It's like, ew, quit talking about Taylor Swift. Quit it. He was being so creepy about it. I'm sure she didn't like that. All right. So what? Okay. So Biden, I'll get back to. I'll let you guys talk about that. Taylor Swift's a very good person. Bless her. Yes, I agree. She is. I totally agree. All right, and I'm going to say, okay, so now I'm going to bring it down and talk about Bannon because the hits I got on Bannon going to jail tomorrow. So last night I was at work, and sometimes when there's a lull, my brain gets bored, and so I'll think, okay, well, I'll just do some psychic stuff here, and I'll tap into what's going on. And so I asked about Bannon, which I don't like Bannon's energy, but I said, what's going on with Bannon? Is he really going to go to jail? And I got that he's been trying to leave the country. And maybe that's what that Russian plane next to Trump's plane was all about. But I think more of that was a transfer and and I saw Bannon getting rid of stuff. Because you know how he has his whole studio set up? He'll probably have someone take over his blog or whatever it is, his podcast thing. He's got hard drives. He's got money. He's got papers. He's got all sorts of things that he shouldn't have, and he's had to get rid of those and hide them. Some of the money is probably already in Switzerland. He's probably got some money dispersed in Bitcoin or whatever you call it. And that probably was part of that whole thing with Barron Trump, that all that money that they said Barron has, that's actually a lot of money transferred from Trump and Bannon and people like that. So, also, here's the thing about Bannon. He does want to leave the country, but I think it's too late, and they've been watching him. And it's possible that he was going to get on that plane and go to Russia. That's what I think was going to happen. So, I do think that he's going to go tomorrow into prison, and he's going to act all like, oh, I wanted to do this. I'm taking one for America. But really what's going to happen is he's got major addictions. He drinks soda all day. He's got like the biggest beer belly many of us have ever seen. I think he smokes pot all day. I think that he sniffs cocaine for entertainment purposes only. He's addicted to the internet, to the news, power. He consults with Trump. He probably has a huge porn addiction. And this guy is not going to have a good time in prison. So even if he goes, he's not going to have a good time, and he's going to be one of the worst inmates they've ever seen, just as like his attitude, and like I don't think he has body strength, but just his attitude, and having to have him in prison is going to be, well, he's going to make it rough on them, but they're going to make it really tough on him, and he's going to end up in like solitary confinement. It won't take long. So Bannon's not going to have a good time in prison. Let me tell you that. He may have a medical episode, and that could be from his addictions. So I'm surprised they haven't done a pee test on him already, and he's going to have to go to rehab, to be honest. So yeah, there goes that energy. Bannon's energy is so bad. It's just so gross. But his day has finally come. Alex Jones, they're liquidating all his assets and his studio, his propaganda machines. So you see how this aligns with Trump going down as well. And who was I posted that video from Truth. Was it Truth Tarot? And she did a reading on will Trump go to jail? And it said, yes, he will. It may not be full jail. It may not be more than one day, but he will go. And he's going to have, she got the, like I've been getting, that he's going to have confinement. So check on my community page. I posted her video. He's going to have major confinement where he can't do campaigns. He can't do the rallies. That's what I've picked up on. He's going to be at home on Zoom, which he hates. And so Trump's not going to be able to campaign. That's really going to affect the election as well. So even if he's on the ticket, he's not going to be able to be a strong contender against Biden. And I read that Biden, his campaign has already bought out all the advertising spots up to the campaign. Trump did not. So that alone is going to be huge for President Biden. And he may, and I just had a vision of him saying, Team America, not just Biden, but Team America. And that's really going to have a huge impact on him winning, is that it's not just Biden we're voting for, it's everyone. It's all of the democracy, everyone. So yeah. All right. You guys are talking about that. Let's see. Watch your visits from Bar. Oh, yes, Carolyn. You know, that's true. Maybe that's why I'm seeing he's going to have trouble in prison. Maybe that's it. He knows too much. And would Trump order that? But see, my thing is, will they take him out, or will they literally pretend that he dies in prison, and then physically they ship him off to Mexico or something, and he's just in Mexico walking around? So you're right, Carolyn. That's exactly what could happen. I wouldn't want to. And Barr is like, he's like the crypt keeper. He's like the he's got a staff, and I would not want to see Barr walk into my prison cell. That's for sure. I'd be like, oh no, security. He's got a bad reputation. All right, my friends. Well, I have a few more minutes, and then I'm just going to make some rice and have just a simple dinner and watch a movie. I guess I'm going to watch Peggy Sue Got Married, although I may watch the Chaplin movie again tonight, because I kind of want to. Sometimes I'll see a movie and it really affects me, and then I have to watch it again because I missed some things, and then I'll move on to something else. So I either hyperfixate and I watch something like 20 times, or I'll watch something. My favorite movie, Jamie knows this, that I love the movie called Nora, about James Joyce and his wife Nora Barnacle, which I think is a funny name, because when I watched it, it's Ewan McGregor who's great in that movie, and he has this sort of diatribe, and I was like, oh, that's John. It's John. And so at least it's some part of John was some part of James Joyce, or maybe I was James Joyce and John was Nora Barnacle. That's very possible. And like in an alternate lifeline, John was Nora and I was James Joyce. It's very possible. Anyway, so I love that movie. I've seen it probably 20 times. And that's the writer in me that loves it. But anyway, it's really good. Oh, you too. Have a lovely evening, Carolyn. It was good having you here. And I'll be back. Like I said, I have a lot of time off this week so far, unless that changes. And I'll come back and we can have some fun. We still need to do our paranormal, Carolyn. We need to do that. Let me know if you can do that this week because that would be fun. And we could all talk about ghosts and things like that and other things, aliens, um, stuff like that. But yeah. And but I was gonna say about James Joyce. Somebody told me because I was talking about John. I said, "What's John James Joyce?" And they weren't sure, but they did say that John that they were picking up that John had read James Joyce's book Ulysses, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went and read it, and oh, okay, Amy, yes, I will do that. I'll make sure. So Carol and I were going to do one together. So I'll definitely send out the link. And oh, you want to be on? Yes, yes, Amy, totally. I would love that. Let's all do it together. That would be so much fun. We're just going to have like that would be so much fun. You know what it'll be like if we have when you sit around a campfire and you tell ghost stories. So maybe I'll get like a campfire background and we could all it was a dark and stormy night and they all sat around the campfire. Yes, I will totally do that. All right. Well, anyway, real quick, the story about she said John loved Ulysses. So I read Ulysses and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like John." And it was about James Joyce would see the ghost of his mother and he was haunted by his mother and I thought that's like John. And so I thought about how when I wrote my book about John Lennon, there were some passages in there about his mother that I remember writing and thinking, wow, I can't believe I wrote that. Where did that come from? And it mirrored a lot of what James Joyce said in Ulysses. And I hadn't read Ulysses at that time. So it really came together for me. Um, Amy, have you seen Young Charlie Chaplin from 1989? Yes, I have. I have seen that. Ian McShane as Chaplin Sr. also did, you know, McCartney earned more money from Peggy Sue Got Married than pressed to play purely because he used the song. No, I didn't know. You know, isn't that weird? I'll have to look at that. I need to go look at that. But yes, I have seen Young Charlie Chaplin. That's where Twiggy plays his mother, and really sad story. But yeah, his father. They have more than in the movie Chaplin. Young Charlie Chaplin. They have more of a focus on his father and how his father influenced his and his brother Sid their comedy and how they got a lot of their pratfalls and things like that. So yeah, it was good. Ian McShane is Chaplin Senior. Okay. Oh yes, Carolyn, definitely. Well, you know, we will. Okay. I hope that you can, but I understand Peter's healing and doctor's appointments. Well, there's probably more than enough stories, more than enough shows that we could do about paranormal. So we can definitely make it work. And if we can't do it this week, we will do it when you're ready. I want you to be able to do it because I really look forward to this. So yeah, we'll make it work. And when you're ready, let me know. I don't want to pressure you. So yes, definitely. It'll be so much fun. And you know what? Sometime, Amy, we should do a show with Jamie because Jamie loves Doctor Who, and I know you love Doctor Who as well. So he's like a huge fan, and we should do like a whole show together about Doctor Who. And yeah, I think that I'm going to write these down because we definitely need to do this. So that'll be a lot of fun. See, this channel doesn't always have to be about politics. It can be about movies and it can be about like fan stuff um, and life. So yeah, let's do that. That'll be really fun. Oh my God. You know what, Carolyn, real quick, you am the, you are the doctor. That's great. Okay, and Carolyn says we can call forward spirits. I have never been in a, well, wait, have I been in a seance? Maybe when I was 18, my friends and I did something, but yes, Carolyn, that would be so cool. We'll do that. As long as they leave and don't hang around and don't sit on my couch, I'm fine with it. Amy says she loves the Doctor. This is a cool show. It'll be interesting to see what the new cast, but I don't, let's not get into that. Let's save that for when we do a show together. Let's talk about, and I'll try to educate myself more on the topic of Doctor Who. We'll talk about what new casts they're going to have, and the controversy of that, and you guys can talk about like what's your favorite moments from the past Doctors and all the different eras. So, Amy, and real quick before I go, and happy Sunday to everyone. Thanks for being here. I love you all, and I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm glad, Amy, that we could give you a little um, like a shift from what you're going through right now. And you bring joy to us being here. And I was going to say, Amy, have you watched that one series with Neil Patrick Harris where he plays a sort of shy, but he's the bad guy, but he's really shy and he's actually kind of sweet. And then the good guy, who's like the superhero that the girl falls in love with, is actually the bad guy. I have to look it up. My daughter was watching it, and it's a musical. It's like an online series that they did before the pandemic, and it's a musical, and with Neil Patrick Harris, who played Dr. Hoogie, Dr. What is that name? Doogie Howser. Doogie Howser. Told you my brain's mush. So yeah, look that up. Neil Patrick Harris. Look up that show. It's really cute. Hi, it's Chloe Drager. Hi, Chloe. And Carolyn says, with Amy, that would be fun. Yes, it'll be so much fun. And Chloe, hi. We're about to go soon. So watch the replay. But it's good to have you here, Chloe. I'm glad to see you. And we'll be back. I might come back tomorrow. We'll see. I have got to clean and I have to mow because I mowed and then it rained and it rained and it rained and it got really hot. And now I wanted to mow today, but I had to work and I'm just exhausted, honestly. So, but yeah, you too. Shine on. You remember Doogie Howser? Okay, bye. Yes, so, Chloe, I'm so sorry. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Yeah, I'll try to be back tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Yeah, watch the replay. And I remember Doogie Howser, MD, from when he was a little kid. I know, isn't that crazy? I didn't watch it when it was on, but I did watch it a few years ago because they had it on one of those side channels, like they show the reruns, and I really got into it. And I thought, God, he's so good. He's so good in the show. Neil Patrick Harris is great. He really is. Okay, shine on. You too, Jamie. Shine on. And everybody, you have a great night. And stay positive. It's going to be okay. We're going to, like Linda said, good energy coming in. And Amy said, thanks, Jamie. And and Carolyn says, there's a cross in the middle of your plant right there. It's almost like kind of like a 4-leaf clover type of thing. Interesting. Well, I love you guys. Take care. Be good to yourselves. Blessings to you too, Fatima. Love you. And have a great night. I'll be back. Bye.